Meet the team that doesn't just talk about impact, they ignite it. Jim Morris and producer Rachel.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
Rise and energize.
I feel like I'm more energized today.
Yeah,
It's
feeling
just one
good.
of those things. Yeah, I feel better.
Did you get good sleep? Because
finally.
I was actually looking at something the other day, and I didn't realize how much sleep like impacts energy and the consumption when you digest food to create energy. So if you're tired, you're overworked, your body's overused, you haven't replenished, it actually takes longer to metabolize and digest your food to then turn it into energy. So I'm like, yo, I could eat all these carbohydrates and get 2.5 hours of sleep and not get the energy as fast as I typically would. And it was like, yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, sleep is important because of the consulting job that I'm on right now. My schedule is like all out of whack. And so I think that the most important thing I'm doing now is listening to my body. I think a lot of us, especially as business owners, we like, we're going, we can do so many things in 24 hours. And you're like, no, like you got to drop it down.
Yeah.
You have to be more realistic and listen to your body. I think we try to just push it, or we'll add something to the calendar,
listen,
right?
What does that mean? Listen. So
you can feel when you're tired, right? You know when you're lethargic, and you also know the difference between like tired or I'm getting a migraine or I'm worn down, right? Like there's levels to it. And so sometimes it really is just like you need to go take a nap. Another time it's like maybe go drink some water because you're probably dehydrated. I go through that a lot. The two things I really notice that I am and am not doing is I'm not drinking enough water, which is like the consistent theme of my life. But I'm not all breathing either, right? We've had Nate on before who's just like, let's take deep breaths. And I've talked about this before, but I'm like when I get stressed, I'm a shallow breather. So I realize I'm not breathing. And so being able to really listen to my body and be like, okay, like again, what do I know to be true? I know I'm dehydrated because I didn't drink enough water yesterday. I know I didn't get a good night's sleep the other day. So last night I had to make sure I put myself to bed at a decent hour. And then I'm doing better with the eating, which is good, right? Like I'm very much all about like cleaning out my gut, that gut-mind connection. And so I've noticed that certain things that like maybe it's healthy for other people, my body just reacts differently. And I start to like everything swells and I get bloated. And it was just like, how come they can eat couscous, but I can't? It's like, oh my God. I think it was quinoa the other day. All of a sudden I got bloated because I ate quinoa. I was just like, oh my God. So like just really understanding and noticing that of like, okay, that doesn't agree with my body. And I have to be okay with like, do I want to feel bloated and tired and gross and disgusting and have a migraine and a headache? Or do I want to know, okay, it's something that we have to avoid. Let's drink a little bit more water and let's get some sleep. That's really
water.
How I do it.
All right. So you must have been reading my mind, because that article also talked about the sleep and how it metabolizes food into energy. And it also talked about like 80-something% of humans aren't consuming enough water. And water actually allows like your body to function at a higher rate to produce everything, which gives you energy. When I was traveling, when I did the like crazy travel from Nashville to West Virginia to Nashville, Nashville to Charlotte, Charlotte to Key West to Miami, Miami to Charleston, Charleston to Charlotte, Charlotte to Ohio, and Ohio back to Nashville. Right?
You're insane, by the way. That was crazy. Even plotting that out, where in your brain we're like, I got this. It's fine.
Honestly, it was one of those moments for me where like I had to think about that quote, like, do I want to be Superman in my business and Clark Kent with my family? And like, yeah, I could have just flew home, but I didn't. I flew to Ohio and I took 2 flights and I never take layovers. And it was 7 hours of travel and then another 7 of driving. But like, I wanted to drive home with my family. I didn't want my wife to do that without me. So it was important to me. But to your point, I didn't drink water. I didn't drink enough water during this trip. And it was because I was asking you, like, how do you know when it wasn't the travel? It wasn't the sleep. It wasn't the food. I just didn't drink enough water. And it crushed me. Like I think it took me like a week to get back to normal after. Freaking water. I think about it. I'm like, all right, in my 20s, I would literally, people would give me water when I was at the bar and I'd dump it out and laugh. And now I don't even drink alcohol and I don't get 13 bottles of water a day. I'm dying. Like, what happened? But then I also think back, like, I'm way more active. I'm using my brain more. I'm traveling more high level thoughts, more communication. I'm always on my phone, whether it's a call or a text. I'm shooting content daily. Like, my activity has tripled since, working a 9 to 5, getting out early and having some drinks at the bar, right? Like,
well, especially, and this, like as a business owner, a small business owner, an entrepreneur, all the things, like our brain is constantly going, right? And it's like a lot of times I feel like my body needs to catch up. And in order to do that, we have to do 3 things: get enough sleep, drink enough water, and fucking breathe. Like we're just not breathing, like taking a moment. You're great. You're better than I am at like doing the walk, like go for the walk, just put the thing down and go for the walk. Because in my head, I'm always like, just 5 more minutes editing or just 5 more minutes with this thing. And I'm not doing myself I'm not doing the right thing, right? Like you can go for a 10-minute walk. It's not going to destroy your whole business if you go for a 10-minute walk and breathe and drink more water. So I really think people need to listen to their bodies and really feel like, where am I getting energy from and where is it draining from me? And that has to do with all of those 3 things. Literally, it's the easiest solution, except we don't do it. Why do we not do things that are good for us, Jim?
It's funny you said it's the easiest solution. As you were saying all this, I'm so glad we're talking about it, because we've done like 100 of these episodes and it's never come up. Like, drink water and focus on your sleep. Like, we've talked about sleep, but the water thing, I'm like, I'm glad we're going back to the basics, because if you're dehydrated, at least in Jim Morris's body and world, like, I'm stressed. Like the dehydration
100%.
causes stress. The stress doubles down, and now I'm just screwed. And it's like, why am I feeling like this? I need to notice these things and correct that course of action immediately and abruptly. And it's crazy to think water is causing me stress. It is. It sounds funny saying it out loud, to be honest, but it's so true.
But dehydration will also like hurt other things in your body and the way that your body functions. And so if we don't listen to ourselves and we're not at least giving ourselves the 3 basic things that we need to survive, right? Because as business owners, it's like tomorrow, schedule that water. The only time this worked for me was somebody of course, like it was probably TikTok. She set an alarm for every 15 minutes, because I didn't realize how much I wasn't drinking until I set that alarm for every 15 minutes. It made me insane, because you're like, oh my God, that's a lot. But I started to realize like how much I don't drink, right? Because I was like, wait, this is how much you're supposed to take sips every 15 minutes, right? I would go hours. And so just doing simple little things to really make you realize, oh, wait, I need to be in this space. I need to listen to myself. I need to give myself that time. And then also, don't be scared to be that person. Don't be scared to say like, you know what, I can't go to this because I need to get sleep, or I can't push it because I need to go do this thing. I think a lot of us just try to like shove so many things in a day because we're scared to say no, that we have to realize like what that's doing to ourselves.
Totally. And I think too, like with the alarms, if you know that you're not consuming enough water, why wouldn't you make that a priority? Whether it's setting alarms, whether it's like, it's your energy. So you're not going to be able to stay up late. You're not going to be able to put that extra hour in and, practice that speech 20 times instead of 10. If you're not consuming that water, if you're not giving yourself the opportunity to gain that energy. And I never thought I'd be on this show talking about water, right? But I just lived it. Like I watched myself not consume enough. I watched the stress. There was a time where I was like frustrated. I'm like, why am I frustrated? I'm like, And I drank a bottle of water in like one sip, and I was like, I think I just don't have enough water. Like it sounds so stupid, and like I say it out loud, and I'm like, I'm just sitting here talking about drinking water. I need to do the alarms, Rachel. I need to set up the alarms.
Try it and see. It'll make you insane at first, but like you realize, oh my God, I'm really just not drinking enough. And it was
because
just
when
like,
I was
oh,
tracking
okay.
it, like I was tracking the ounces. And
Oh God, did you have like the big jug though? I can't do the
no,
big jug because
no,
it
I mean neither.
overwhelms my brain because I'll never
No,
drink it.
I won't bring it with me. I'll put it down and I'll leave it somewhere. But I was doing so. I'd have like the smart water bottles that are like 16, and I would just refill one. I'd buy a 12 pack and I'd refill one every time one went out, so I didn't have an excuse. Like I didn't have to get ice. It was always in the fridge. It was cold. It was just grab a bottle because I'm in and out of meetings, or I'm downstairs, upstairs on Zooms, and it's just setting myself up for success, just like I would do in anything else. I just never gave it enough time and attention because I never realized how directly correlated it is to my energy. And just all that travel, like someone was like, you're crazy about, you doing all that driving. Like it was like, 70 hours of driving in a week. And it's like, that actually wasn't the problem. It wasn't. It was, I just didn't consume enough water as I typically would. And I was just felt like I was running on an empty tank. So today we're talking about water. We're talking about energy. We're talking about listening to your body. We're talking about setting alarms to drink water if you're as ridiculous as Jim Morris and need alarms to do so.
Well, and setting yourself
also
up for
quantifying.
success, right?
Yeah,
Like
quantifying.
literally what the last thing you just said is like, I set myself up for success. So I had the only choice I could make was to make the next best choice because it was right there, the next bottle of water. Does that make sense? And I think a lot of times as business owners, we really have to look at what it is that we're doing, where those gaps are, and how can we set ourselves up for success, no matter what it is, whether it's sleep, breathing, water, or outsourcing, hiring a VA, doing all the things, right? Like what am I not able to do because I'm not realizing that I'm at a deficit, i.e. dehydrated, i.e. whatever it is, right? So I want you guys to listen to your bodies, do the right thing, breathe, get enough sleep, drink water, and then set yourself up for success with everything else too.
And bring someone into it with you, like
an accountability partner, maybe.
Yeah. Or just like I had a friend, he's like, I don't want to drink alcohol anymore. And his girlfriend would like come home with a bottle of vodka or wine. And I'm like, it's never going to happen, dude. Like you're never going to not drink. Your environment's incorrect. And he just asked her, hey, can you stop doing that? And she stopped on a dime, and he hasn't drank.
That's awesome.
And it's like, he just didn't want to ask. So if you have a spouse or a partner or a friend or your neighbor in your apartment complex, like, hey, I'm trying to drink more water. Let's do this thing together. Let's hold each other accountable. Like,
I love it.
Why not? So lead into some help, drink water, gain that energy, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye, everybody.